Welcome back to this F1 Manager 24 Create a Team Career Mode. In today's video, we are entering the 2030 season, having just finished our first ever year managing Andretti in Formula 1 with Leclerc and Liam Lawson as our drivers. We came in third place in the Constructors' title, a little bit higher, actually a lot higher than I was thinking at the start of 2029, where, at one point, we started the season with less than $500,000. The team was in financial disarray. We were paying this man $52 million a year. I mean, we still are paying this man $52 million a year. But you know what? We turned it around. We persevered. And now we're a team that has a decent amount of cash going for it. Obviously, we're going to see how much cash that we have to spend on next year's car. But I've saved a decent amount. So hopefully we start next season, 2030, with a good amount to make some upgrades straight off. Obviously, we've done a lot of research into next year's car. 2 chassis, 2 front wing, 2 rear wing, 2 side pods, 2 underfloor, and 2 of everything. Actually, I didn't know there was 2 of everything. Otherwise, I would have just said that. But yeah, we've done a lot of research. So I am really hopeful that we can take the fight to the top teams. And I would have said top team of just Red Bull Ford because Teo Porcher stormed to a dominant Drivers' World Championship, but that was after a first half of the season where he just stormed it. So many wins, so many podiums. But late on last season, if you did follow on, Ferrari were actually clearly the best car by a country mile. They looked scarily quick at the end of the season, and they were able to overturn Red Bull late on and win their first Constructors' title in absolutely ages. And it was with Ollie Behrman and Lando Norris, and one of these two, maybe both of them, might be going for the driver's title now next time in 2030. Obviously, I'll be hoping that we can try and go for it with Leclerc, with Andretti, and I say just Leclerc because potentially might be looking at replacing Liam Lawson, because I asked you guys about Liam, and the consensus was, although he's a very good driver, he's grown to 87, he apparently just actually, for a lot of people, seems to crash a lot in F1 Manager 24. Like, maybe that's just a characteristic stat that he has, and I need consistency. We in this business, okay, we need consistency. We don't need crashes. We don't need extra money being spent on car parts. So I'm going to scout before we go into the official pre-season bit, and scout who we might replace him with. But before we continue with that, I just want to address what's going on here, okay? Because I've seen a fair few comments, and maybe some people still are a bit confused of what's going on. This is not a choice that I have made of to grow on my face, okay? You guys usually know I have a pretty decent beard, I think. This is a questionable mo, and it's not a choice. I am doing Movember, which, if you don't know, is a charity here in the UK, and I think in the US as well, for men's health in general, be it cancer, mental health, suicide prevention, etc. And you fundraise for this charity in the month of November by growing a mustache, which is a little bit of fun. You can have a good laugh with it. I'm doing it with a couple of friends, and I'll link my page down below in the description and the top comment of this video, because as we come to about halfway through the month, I am just over halfway through my fundraising target. So please, guys, if you have anything to donate, even like £1 or £2 or whatever, then please do in the link below. It would mean a lot to me as we try and reach this target by the end of the month. I have already completed the 60-kilometer move challenge. I'll be continuing that on to try and see if I can double it, basically, just as a fun little challenge, as an additional thing to growing this mustache, which, to be fair, I've been enjoying the comments, because a few people were saying it was giving Mario, or a few people were saying it was giving Nigel Mansell, which, to be honest, I'll take a bit of Nige, okay? So with that, let's channel Nigel Mansell into this next season, shall we, and try and win a championship. In terms of scouting drivers potentially for next season, of course, it's too late right now to put in an offer for a driver to replace Lawson. We're going to have to wait for over the preseason period, in that little window where awkwardly sometimes drivers are free agents. And the drivers that I've scouted so far, well, one is Franco Colapinto, and then I might choose some others, basically, but Franco has been on my radar. Of course, we tried to sign him, or we were thinking about signing him, when I was managing my own team, Aarava GP, and very nicely, the AI, manager that took over, did sign him. But if you did follow along last season, his first year with AAGP alongside what was then the reigning champ Antonelli, of course now the reigning champion is Teo Porcher, but Franco struggled a little bit in qualifying with the AAGP car. In the races seems to come back, and he had a few strong results. I think under my tutelage, I think we can turn him into the finished article. And I think Franco, alongside Charles, what a combination that is of driver caliber and skill, and also personality. Like, obviously, everyone is kind of almost fallen in love with Franco as a personality on the grid. Obviously, a huge fan base from Argentina, IRL. But I think, if you really look at it, Franco and Charles would be a really great pairing, I think. Both great personalities to have in a team. And I think, I'm going to guess that Franco would be a fan favorite from you guys, maybe, to sign. Because, as I said, he has so many fans now, and they are so incredibly passionate. And I want to go for him, but I'm not going to go for it now because I believe, it's locked in for next season. So the only time I can sign him is for the end of next year. I believe that means, basically, because his contract runs till 2030, is it? Or basically 1 year left after we go into the next year. So we'll try and swoop in for him at the very start as we now go in towards the end of the season here. But apart from that, I think our team's in a very good place. Obviously, we signed Diego Tondi, so now, a lot of the research parts we did were under his hand of the head of aero. I'm happy with our technical chief. I'm happy with our sporting director. Engineers are fine. Facilities are pretty decent. I mean, it's like basically we don't need desperately to upgrade our facilities to a point where I want to spend this 37 million right now. So we'll just go into the end of the season and see what the math is going to be on how much we're spending for next year's car and how much we're left with to start off 2030. And very nicely, I actually forgot there would have been a last sponsor payment. We've got 3.7 million coming in from the final sponsor plan. That's a decent amount, so we should be up to 40 million now in terms of our budget, are we not? And overall, the sponsors were very happy with us this year as our team marketability moves up from 741 to 814. That's calm. That's great to hear. As we now go into the overview how we did. So 10th place in the pit stops, even though I feel like we've had some decent pit stop times, like 2.2 or whatever. Board confidence high. Board confidence is high. I think, we overachieved last season with Andretti. So going to 2030, I'm really quietly confident that I think we can try and go and do even better. It just depends on how good Ferrari are going to be out of the blocks, because their car was scary fast at the end of the season. But we have done a lot of research parts, so that could really play a massive factor. But Charles being 4th is huge. Lawson only 11th, and I feel like he would have been higher if it weren't for crashes or some little mistakes he was making this season. So I think that's a reason why some of me change him out, even though, on paper he's such a great driver in this game. But as I said, if he's crashing a lot in the game, then it doesn't really help us. 3rd in the championship, obviously looking to do better next time out, but that moves us up to a 4-star rating team. So we have made a big instant impact to Andretti in only year 1. My team principal rating shot up to 1,000. Come on. Come on. Okay, that's what you want to see. And we get an extra 1.5 million because of the board confidence. Okay. Regulation change comes in for 2030, so it's a minor technical change. And remember, I forgot about this. The monetary regulations change. For some stupid reason, majority of teams voted for the bottom teams to all get less and the top teams to get more than they do right now. And I say it's stupid because some of the bottom teams were voting for this to happen. So, yeah, very, very odd. But, okay, that means we'll get more prize money share if we were to finish in the top 3, which I hope is minimum the aim now, obviously having come 3rd in 2029 to 2030, at least looking to get 2nd second place. And then, like I said, if Ferrari are beatable, maybe we can go for first. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off until we see the R&D chart right at the end of this video to make a judgment of where we may be. Right, the new target for the season is third place, basically, because the target was fourth, of course, last season. And now the new target is to do the same again, basically. So that's fine. I'll take that. And now we enter the brand new season 2030. The target is still Constructors Champions. The long-term target is still Constructors Champions, and the target season is 2031. So next season, they want us to be winning the championship by. Let's see if we could do it maybe 1 year early as we look at our balance, and the balance is very solid. 10 million, that's what, 10.5 million more than we had last season. So I will take that, and thank God we saved all that money. Can you imagine if I even just spent like 10 million on like one HQ facility or something, or I don't know, just more upgrades? We would have been starting once again in financial disarray. But now that's a good baseline, 10.9. Obviously we have the sponsors. This is what I keep forgetting. The sponsor money will come in as well. But last season, the way our sponsors worked, we were gaining more money per race rather than at the start. So it really slowed us up at the start of the season. Whereas, well, who knows what it's going to be like this season. If it's going to be the same, which I don't mind because we ended up earning quite a lot of money per sponsor plan, then this 10.9 million will be a nice little buffer at the start. But technical change, of course, we did a lot of research to combat some of these changes. But I mean, look at this, minus 25% nearly on airflow middle, and we did combat that, but not nearly as much as the changes make. So even though they're minor changes, some of them are quite significant in terms of percentage changes. So if others didn't do research parts, they're going to be screwed. Like side pods, 22% negative, and we bumped up by 6%. So I'll be very curious to see how others have done, because actually in many ways this is not such a minor technical change. This is quite a big one in some small areas. Financial wise, obviously we spoke about that, about getting more prize money basically now for finishing higher. There's you know, since last season there's no longer a pole position bonus point, but there is one for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, of course. And we're actually going to start off with 12.9 million because I assume the board payment comes into that on top of the 10 million. So yeah, that's a lot more of a more comfortable position to be in than we were at the start of last season. So now we are here in 2030. Wow, that's kind of mad to say. We're now 6 years on, or 7 seasons into the series now. And for our 7th season of this game, we have got, once again, a bit of an altered calendar, and we've shaken things up a bit more when it comes to, especially the end of the season. But we start off with the fan favorite, Down Under, at the Australian Grand Prix. I can't actually remember. I think last season, didn't we start it in Las Vegas? There's a bit of a difference there. But now we return to Melbourne to kick things off. Then we go to Bahrain, and then Las Vegas is 3rd in the calendar. Then comes China, then Qatar, which was a really nice one to have early on in the season. Always an exciting one in this game with the tire wear. Miami has actually been a decent race in this year's game as well. Baku returns to the calendar. We didn't have it in 2029, so it returns to take an earlier slot in the season ahead of Imola and then Canada. And then we get into the heart of the European portion of the calendar with Spain, Austria, Monaco coming a bit later in the year, just like it will in real life, because today, as I record this, Monaco announced they have renewed their place in the F1 calendar, IRL, for many, many years now to come. And from 2026, they will no longer be in May. They will be the first weekend of June, so they'll be a bit later in the calendar season. So I thought it'd be kind of nice to have Monaco a little bit later, just like that here. Although here in the game, it will be probably a lot later than it's going to be, because I think this is about the third weekend of June. But either way, it's cool to have Monaco a little bit displaced from where it usually is, getting used to that late appearance. Then we go to Silverstone. Zandvoort is another circuit that returns to this season's calendar. We didn't have it in 2029. We go Budapest, Spa, Monza, and then it's flyaways again, and it's a very different run-in, because actually Monza, the end of the European portion of the season, is actually quite late on, as the only flyaways are then Singapore, for Sao Paulo. And then this is an old school one. You know, we've talked about Sao Paulo being a fan favorite finale. Suzuka used to be a big, dramatic finale for old F1 seasons. So I thought, let's run it back and go to Suzuka for the final race of the 2030 season. Now, enough about calendars. Let's see if we can maybe go and nick Franco Colapinto from my own team, AAGP. Oh, you're kidding me. The scouting expired. Oh, really? Really? I can't remember what... I'm going to have to go back in the tape and see what the parameters were. Otherwise, I'm just going in blind. Right, I've got the knowledge on my phone from when we previously saw Franco here. So we are going to go for, obviously, car number 2 to replace Liam Lawson. Starting immediately, so we would have to break his contract. But it's 5.5 million. Oh, no, that's to break Liam's contract. Oh, okay, no, that's all right. He's asking for a lot of money, though. This is actually a lot more than I've got on this photo here. So at the end of last season, he was only asking for, and probably happy with, like 7 million. I think that's what he's actually currently on at AAGP. But he wants about 10 million added on to that to sign for us, which is fair enough. He is a much higher caliber driver than maybe he was when he joined AAGP. I'll bring down the multiplier by only 0.2. Give him a nice signing bonus. Butter him up a bit. I'll go 1.2 million. Race bonus, what do I think? Like a podium? If he gets a podium, I'm fine giving him, like, I don't know, 100k. I'm gonna have to bump up the salary. Let's go to 18 million. That's as most I'll go. That looks pretty high to me, but that's as high as I can go. 18 million. That means if we sign him on $18 million, we are paying our drivers collectively $70 million, because you got Leclerc on 52 million and Colapinto on 18 million. That is so much money on just driver salary, but it matters, you know. If we had someone like Colapinto last season, maybe we could have even caught Red Bull. That's how poor they were at the end of last season. But now we're going to need all the help we can get if Ferrari end up being as good as they were at the end of last season, which was literally all conquering, like illegally quick, literally. So let's go for this. This will cost us 6.7 million. To be honest, that, you know, that's like half the money we've got now, but I think that's why we wanted, you know, a decent amount of money to start the season, you know, to have the ability to be very quick and agile with a deal like this. You know, this is a very wheeler dealer sort of thing. You know, we're still just entering the new year. It's Jan 1st. This is ultimate cheekiness from us to try and steal Franco from AAGP before they've even got back to the factory to start winding up for 2030. I kind of want to know sooner. Is this going to hurt our chances? Oh, 20. I can wait 21 days. I can wait 21 days for Franco to answer. But it's 66 days till the Australian Grand Prix. So we've got time. We've got time. The only thing is, obviously, now is that gives AAGP a chance to counter, maybe, in their negotiations. So, hey, okay, this is the internal car report. Not going to look at the analysis screen at all yet, just to keep us waiting and guessing where we are on the pecking order. But I don't like the look of red numbers by medium and high speed. And as we've established, high speed is so overpowered in terms of what's most important in the car on this year's game. That's got me a bit worried. And that's annoying because we did so much work to get our car to like #1 status in medium and high speed last season. And it's been all undone by the research. ATR's open right now. If high speed's going to be in the toilet, let's do something about it immediately. Oh my God, it looks in the toilet. 19th place. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's boost that up. Plenty of wind tunnel time. The drag reduction's also not looking that great either. Oh, bloody hell. I thought we were onto a winner. I thought we were going to be making a ballistically great car. The drag reduction effectiveness is also not looking great on that car. I really thought the two bits of research on everything, we would have been laughing about our chances at the start of the season. But it looks like we've still got a lot of work to do maybe this season, which, you know, it's part of the challenge. This is, like I said, this is effectively another road to glory with Andretti, you know, starting from a team entering Formula One like this. You know, it's another road to glory. So there's like the first road to glory we did with AAGP. There are obstacles. It's a long-term project, and so this looks like it may be another season of building. I don't know. Last season we said that, and then we built a lot more than we thought. So can we do it again? I hope. All right, 1 million there. Gonna use all the ATR period here. This is literally all of it. 62 days. 4 days before the Grand Prix, the next one comes in. So this is it. It's these two upgrades. I think we did this last time, didn't we? So this is very deja vu from last season's preseason. But these two upgrades need to hit. All right, another 1 million there. Please, please work out for us. Right, sponsor negotiations. Let's go for it. Right, race day packages, upfront package, engagement. What's the highest? 65. Yeah, race day package all day, all day, all day. Oh, we've got some new sponsors, you know. 4-star. 4-star. That's the team marketability going up. Right, it's a healthy balance on secondary sponsors, you know. 3 of these are upfront payments. So the 2 higher level sponsors are big upfront payments. That's pretty good. And 1 extra race day package. And this will be with engagement. So total funding, 113. Upfront, 32 million. That's a decent amount. And look at that. We could be earning 60 million from race day targets. So hopefully, again, every sponsor plan, we're going to be raking it in. And the same thing with the race day targets. Very high performance reliance. That was the case last season, and we made it work. You know what? In a weird, funny way, the high speed and medium speed being in the toilet again at the start of the season, we might be gaming the system again because the targets will be hopefully consistently low. And when we overachieve that, it's guaranteed payday every single race. So to be honest, I'm not too annoyed at the car maybe starting off not in a great place again. I'm going to upgrade the CFD simulator. 10 million. That's, I think, a good upgrade. That will bring it in line with the wind tunnel suspension and car part test center of level 2 for all of that. I'm also going to upgrade the weather center. Let's go for it. 2 million on weather center. Absolutely. Let's build the helipad as well. Come on. Let's get it. Let's get those sponsors coming in for Andretti. Should we go with the factory upgrade? Should we go with the factory upgrade? Should we go with the factory upgrade? We've got 30 million. We could go 14. Let's do it. Let's do it. Go big or go home. Go big or go home. Factory upgrade. 14.5 million. We'll have 16.4 million left over. That is fine by me. That is a good amount still to start the season off with. Let's go. Long-term big boy purchases. And with those big purchases done, it looks like it's time to see the updated roster for 2030. Bearing in mind, right now, Franco Colapinto is contracted to AAGP, but I will be trying my hardest to swoop in and steal him before the first race of the season. But this will be the roster as it stands. Oh, there's already a big change I can see. There's nothing here about a big money move, but there certainly is a big change here for Red Bull Ford. Ferrari, no surprise, Constructors champions, they stay the same with Ollie Behrman and Lando Norris. But Red Bull Ford, they've lost Teo Porcher. The reigning world champion has left Red Bull Ford. Clearly not impressed by the incredible drop-off of the Austrian outfit at the end of last season. He's up and left. That's incredible. So Tsunoda will effectively lead the team, I guess. But incoming is Hadjar. Hadjar was driving for McLaren, so that guarantees there's a change at McLaren then. I wonder if Teo Porcher has gone to McLaren. That would be kind of cool, because obviously in real life, Porcher has had his little time here and there with McLaren before. So let's see. But Hadjar, who IRL is actually a Red Bull Junior driver, so I wonder maybe that's why he's ended up going to Red Bull, because it's like a, you know, good fit in the coding for he used to be a Red Bull Junior. So he is now finally actually stepped up and made that dream a reality of being in the #1 Red Bull team alongside Tsunoda. That's not the strongest lineup ever in the world. It's going to be very interesting to see how good their car is. If it's not as great as it was last season at the start, Red Bull may go from winning the Drivers' Championship and coming second to a bit of a rockier time in 2030. Let's see. I mean, it could be that Ferrari overhaul at the end of last season has truly rocked Red Bull back down to being a bit mediocre. Let's see. I don't know. But I'm worried about this partnership. Behrman and Lando, they could be going for multiple race wins if their car is anywhere as near as good as it was in 2029 relative to the rest of us, you know, in terms of, you know, who's done well over the winter break. But that's a strong pairing. No reason to change it. And like I said, even though They're our rivals. We'll be looking to hopefully beat both of them. I am like a proud father seeing Ollie Behrman up there in the Ferrari doing bits. You know, we grew him from, what was it, like 76 rated to 95. I think he is literally the best driver now on the grid. But Lando's only 94, 1 point behind. I mean, that is a really scary partnership in terms of consistency and out-and-out pace. But I'm hoping that we can create our own great partnership if we can get Franco Colapinto. But let's see the next set of teams then. So from Ferrari to Red Bull, we move to, obviously, I think this is in championship order. So this will be, obviously, we know who we've got right now. It's Leclerc and Lawson, but that's with an asterisk. But who are Porsche got for this next season? Will they even change it up from what seems like a staple of Ocon and Russell? I mean, Ocon has been at Porsche / what was VCarb for literally most of the entire series. I think since like 2025, he's been at that team. That was VCarb and is now Porsche. So is it going to be the same again? No, it's not. Russell stays put, but Jack Doohan has come in and they've got rid of Ocon, or Ocon's left. Maybe his contract run out. To be fair, actually, no. I think Ocon's contract always ran till 2029. So I think this is just the natural progression is they just mutually parted ways, to be fair. Russell stayed on. He had a bit of a so-so season, you know, ever since he was at AAGP 2 seasons ago. He's really had a massive knock to his confidence here. So incoming is Jack Doohan. He was wasted at Mercedes, who, very frankly now, for the last 2 seasons have been a backmarker team, which is pretty crazy to say. But yeah, Doohan was wasted at Mercedes. He is actually incoming as the better driver of the two, which is pretty mad to think about, you know, from real life right now, where Doohan's going to be only a rookie in next season's IRL F1 Championship. But here in 2030, he is the actual better rated driver in the Porsche lineup. Interesting. Of course, hopefully, we'll be changing this second driver. No, you know, disrespect to Lawson, you know. As I said, IRL, I really like Lawson, but in the game here, we need to make some tough decisions. Moving on to AAGP, we know what their lineup should be, unless there's a pretty crazy change with Antonelli's side of things for AAGP. And then Audi, that'll be an interesting one to see who have they got, because they were on the up a little bit at the end of last season, you know. They started off so slow, but by the end of it, they were, well, quicker than us. And it's going to be Piastri and Teo Porcher. Wow. GG's, Audi. GG's. That's incredible. You know what? It's kind of mad. My 2 former teams, AAGP, Audi, they have got both unbelievable lineups. I'm not saying anything. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but clearly, you know, I leave teams in a very good place, where I've just planted the seeds and it grows on its own without even me having to water them. I'm not even watering them anymore, and they're still blossoming, and they've still got a great, you know, infrastructure where they're able to sign such great caliber drivers, you know. But Audi's lineup is sensational, because remember, it's Oscar Piastri, 2-time world champion in this alternate F1 universe, and now the reigning champ of Teo Porcher. I wonder, are Audi cooking the books again with financial fraud to afford Porcher? Either way, that's a massive coup for them to get Porcher. What a lineup. Piastri and Porcher, 93, 92 rated. And then obviously AAGP is a very strong lineup, but I'll be hoping to, unfortunately for them, make it a bit weaker and get Colapinto. To be fair, if I was Lawson, I would just go the other way. And that's a very nice place to land, I think. But this is going to be interesting to see if Antonelli now, you know, after a bit of a wobbly season, 2029 AAGP, didn't have the best time, can they on their own come back through and climb up the rankings again without my help? And are Audi going to sustain that improvement they showed at the end of last season? That will be very interesting as well. Moving on now to McLaren and Aston Martin. So I thought Porcher may have gone to McLaren because of his tie from IRL IndyCar ties, but no. So McLaren have got rid of Hajar, or rather Hajar has left McLaren to go for Red Bull, maybe a team he always wanted to join. So it's going to be, I assume, Bortoleto at McLaren, but who's going to be next to him? It's Pato O'Ward. Oh yeah, crap. I forgot. O'Ward, of course. O'Ward was driving for Audi. I completely forgot Porcher was replacing someone, and that someone was Pato O'Ward. So you know what? Porcher may have not gone to McLaren because of his IndyCar ties, but O'Ward has gone to McLaren with his IndyCar ties, because of course in real life, O'Ward is driving for Arrow McLaren. So now O'Ward is driving for the McLaren Formula 1 team, realizing that F1 dream, alongside Gabriele Bortoleto, the latest driver that's been confirmed as a rookie for next season in F1. Well, here he is, 2030. He's 90 rated. That is a solid lineup for McLaren. They just need to provide a better car than they have done in recent seasons. And Aston Martin stay put with Gabriel Mini and Pierre Gasly. In flashes, Aston Martin, I think if I remember correctly, had some okay results, but they're going to need some much bigger improvements if we're to see Mini and Gasly pop up a bit more in our races. And then now we move to, kind of crazy to think, Williams and Mercedes this low in the championship are Mercedes, but they really truly are just backmarker or midfield team now. Williams, they had Luke Browning. I assume and hope they've kept him because he was a very strong person. Merck, honestly, I don't know if it even matters who they have because they were so poor. Like, they are literally like one of those teams where they're so slow it won't matter. But let's see who they have. I mean, I'm actually quite curious who they could go for to try and pull them out of the mess. Williams have, oh, there he is, Esteban Ocon. He's left Porsche by mutual agreement and he's gone to Williams. That's not bad, you know. At times, Williams actually were coming into the top 10, weren't they? With Browning especially. So, you know what? In a funny way, Ocon may come back to annoy us again in a season, because I can just picture it now. Williams, they got a couple of top 10s with Browning. Now that Ocon's driving for them, watch how they start getting podiums this season just because Ocon's in the team. It will just be written in the stars, won't it? It just will be. But Ocon and Browning, that's a solid lineup. And then Mercedes maintain Maloney and they have Jack Crawford now. So yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Mercedes now very much just can't be considered a top team anymore. The pedigree, the heritage they had, it's gone. You know what? That saying of, you know, leave F1 before the F1 leaves you. I think the F1 has left Mercedes in this career safe. And then with Haas, this is actually quite a good little transfer here. Albon's still staying with Haas. But Ugo is moving up into Formula 1, 82 rated actually. So he comes in actually, and he's grown as a driver in development very, very nicely. I think actually, I remember seeing before, I think he was in the Red Bull affiliation for quite a few years. So clearly they've grown him quite well. Whether he's just left the stable or not, I don't know. But he's now on the F1 grid. That's pretty damn decent. And you may notice subtly there are some changes to the overalls because there are also some livery changes. So these are the driver transfers for 2030, pending maybe still one more to go if we can still Colapinto away. But along with these driver transfers, I also have some new liveries for different teams. I really wanted to have a different Andretti livery for this season, but unfortunately, this is the only Andretti livery mod that's out there right now for F1 Manager 24. And unlike with the Codemasters games, I don't know the ability to actually make my own custom livery yet on F1 Manager. I want to try and learn how to do it myself because it comes in handy like with the Codemasters games where I can just do stuff on my own. But at the moment, I'm having to rely on mods in the general public forum or Patreons and stuff. So with the Andretti one, we've stayed the same, but we do have some nice changes for other teams. The first one, it's a pretty big one. The Constructors' Champions, Ferrari. This is a very left field one. It looks a little bit odd, but at the same time, when you really look at it, it's quite a cold livery. The black Ferrari. Okay, now I don't know about you guys, but growing up as a kid, whenever I was watching cartoons or a little bit of anime cartoon or whatever, there was always this thing about characters that were good who were dressed in red and black. They became evil and were dressed in black and red. And for some reason, this is giving me that vibe. Ferrari, they've cooked up some sort of illegal car at the end of last season. They spanked everyone. They smashed and grabbed the Constructors' Champions. And now maybe in 2030, they're looking to dominate the entire season in black and red. We've got some change now with McLaren and their main sponsor being MasterCard. So a very different livery to what we've had in previous seasons for them. And on the same vein of very different liveries, Aston Martin, very, very different now, ditching the white with the Honda badging. They're still powered by Honda in our save, but Aston Martin now in a more of a AMR kind of, GT racing lime green of Aston Martin. Mercedes with a bit of a tweaked livery, although to be fair, we may not be seeing a lot of them in this season. Williams, I've changed their livery around. Now, they did have a unique livery already last season, but I really liked the yellow livery that they've been donning with Franco's sponsor, and I know Franco's not driving for them right now in the game. He's obviously driving for AAGP and maybe driving for us, but I like the concept of bringing some yellow back on the Williams. So there's some yellow back on the Williams for this season in 2030. And then Haas has changed their livery, and they've got bigger investment from Toyota. Obviously, in real life, Toyota are on the car as a small little technical partner, but here now in the game, 2030, it's more of a proper big partnership with Haas and Toyota being back on the F1 grid in a more, prominent way. Now, with that, all that's left to do is wait for these 2 upgrades to come in, because I want to see those 2 upgrades on the car. Then we'll see what the R&D chart looks like, because if I look at it now, it may truly depress me with where the car is. Oh, the helipad's been constructed. Lovely. Get those big wigs in to the HQ to spend some money on Andretti, please. Yes, here we go. Yes, he's gone for it. Welcome. Hashtag welcome Franco. Yes, man. Yes. 6.6, that's calm. That's fine by me. Confirm hire. Welcome to the team, Franco Colapinto. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff right there. Leclerc and Colapinto. What a lineup, man. What a lineup. Oh, construction delayed, though. When one good thing happens in this team, clearly another thing has to go wrong. So now our completion date is a little bit delayed, or we can pay overtime. To be fair, you know what? We can pay overtime. That's not too bad. I can pay that overtime. It's all right. Let's get that done to the weather center. All right, here we go. The first of our designs is coming through the underfloor. Oh, and the chassis. Both of them at the same time. Okay. Get the chassis and underfloor made. That'll come in time. For the first race. That's 36 days and 28 days is for all 4 parts that we're making. And then once those come in, then we can finally, to end out this video, look at the R&D chart and assess where we're at. And to be fair, actually, before we get to that, I want to try and confirm who's driving for AAGP now, because we stole Franco away. So has Liam found his place at AAGP? Where's Liam? Oh, Liam's a free agent still. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for the guy. He deserved a spot somewhere, but we've dropped him. It's harsh. Is there a way to... Oh, I feel bad. Can we sign him as an affiliate driver or something? I don't know. Oh, God. Who's driving for them then? Oh, is it Abby Pudding? I think it is. Abby Pudding, is she getting her F1 debut? We obviously, well, actually, no, sorry, not her F1 debut, her full season debut, but we gave her a debut at AAGP many years ago. We've grown her, or we were growing her as an affiliate driver. She's, as an AI, team, they've grown her to 84 rated, to be fair. So she is getting her full season debut at AAGP. To be fair, quite a few of you were wanting me to, if we ever went back to AAGP, to maybe see if we can finally debut her, and maybe she's grown to a point where she can do well now on the F1 grid. Well, we're about to find out. We're going to find out in 2030 then. Right, weather center's done. That's going to be a very big positive for any race that has some wet weather, to kind of see it ahead and make the most of it. And now we've got our manufacturing complete for various parts. So I think maybe it's time to have a look. Actually, let's get this CFD simulator in. And now then I think we can install these parts. And there's an email to improve the design center. I'll go for it. Plus 50% for 45 days. I'll take that. Right, car parts are on. 13 days till the Australian Grand Prix. I'll leave it here. And it's now time to load up the R&D chart. Oh, dear Lord. You're joking me. What? I thought we did good. I thought we did well. Researching. Oh, my God. We're in the mud at the start of the season. I mean, I said this last season, and then we did some mega upgrades, so maybe we can do some mega upgrades again to really jump us up the order. But wow, Audi are going to be the best on paper to start the year off then, according to this. So Théo Pourchaire, the reigning champ, has chosen very well and very wisely. He's gone to the next best team for the next season after winning it with Red Bull. He now goes to Audi to try and maybe defend his championship. Ferrari still looks strong, though, but not as strong as Audi. So Ferrari actually have been upgraded over the winter. AAGP coming back strong, so we certainly have made one of the top teams weaker by stealing Franco away. Porsche, McLaren, oh, actually, Porsche actually looking pretty good. So it's kind of almost like a very spread out top four pack. Then there's a very competitive midfield. McLaren, Red Bull, Williams, Aston Martin, and ourselves. And then the back markers of Mercedes and Haas. Oh, my days, though. Oh, flipping hell. I thought we were going to be like top four at least starting the season off. We've got more hard work to do. More hard work to do in 2030 to get this team ready to win a championship, maybe. I really hope we can do some massive upgrading early on in the season. We're going to need it. And we're going to, once again, need Lord Percival and Franco Colapinto to be outperforming that car in the same way Leclerc was so many times last season in order to score us big points still versus better cars out there. But interesting. I bet you didn't think he was going to go that way. I didn't either. I really thought we were going to be on for a decent championship challenge off the bat, but no. We're in a difficult spot, but this is all part of the road to glory, you know? There are hurdles like this. We didn't do as well as we actually thought we were going to be doing over the winter. It's fine. It's fine, okay? We can come back from this and hit the ground running. You know, look at the first episode of 2029. It was looking so dismal, and then Leclerc came out with some great results. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. This is not the be end and end all of everything in this game. There are other factors that play into it. But guys, if you have enjoyed this pre-season episode for 2030, it's looking like another exciting one and another challenging one for us at Andretti, then be sure to hit the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're around here, then do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.